All right, well, it is 7:01. I say we start. Okay, welcome. I'm going to call the meeting to order and do roll call. Remember, you say where you are reporting from today, what exotic place you are in. All right, Carla.
Present in Royal Oak.
Maya. I don't see Maya. Okay. Melanie.
Present in Royal Oak.
Eric.
Present in Royal Oak.
Catherine.
Present in Royal Oak.
Sharon.
Present in Royal Oak.
Aaron.
Present in Royal Oak.
Mark.
Present in Royal Oak.
And me, Stacy, present in Royal Oak. Okay, next on the agenda is public comments, which there was none. So next we'll go to announcements and communications. Were there any announcements or communications? There was one about the flower sale from that the Friends is doing. Does anyone have that information handy to share? I can pull it up.
I do if you need it.
Yeah, if you could just give a high-level overview of the Friends flower sale.
So between now and I believe May 7th, the Friends are doing a flower sale fundraiser. 50% of the proceeds will go directly back to the Friends. All purchasing is done online, and the flowers that are purchased will be mailed directly to the buyer.
Great. And how would one buy the flowers?
There was a link that was sent to all of the board members' emails, but I could put the link in the chat if you'd like.
Perfect. And how would the public do this?
They would also use the link. It's a public link.
Okay. Is it on our website by any chance?
I believe that it was put on the website.
Okay, excellent. Any other announcements or communications?
I think it's on their
Facebook.
Yeah, it's on their
And
Facebook.
on Facebook. Great.
I do have an announcement, Stacey. Sort of. Just update on the community book club that we're hoping to pick a book for that in the next week, and we're going to start to roll it out by first announcing that there is going to be a book club, and then a special announcement coming soon about what the book is going to be. We're going to be focusing on an adult book, but we're going to have some companion books for kids and YA so that they can join in fun.
Great. Thanks for the update, Melanie. Any other announcements or communications? Okay. Next, approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Seconds.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay. Aaron?
Sorry, who seconded that?
Catherine.
Thank you.
All in favor of approving the agenda? Say aye.
Right.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, let the record reflect that this motion passed unanimously. Okay, acceptance of the minutes from March 23rd, 2021. Is there a motion?
Carla motions to accept those minutes.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Sharon seconds.
Thanks, Sharon. Discussion? Okay, all in favor? Say aye.
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 All opposed? Let the record reflect that this motion passed unanimously. Next, the library interim director's report. Let's start with Adrian. Anything to add since it came out? There usually is.
You know it.
Go ahead.
So, some updates from today. We finally got our gas bill sorted out, and I would like to give a huge shout out to Julie Lyons-Bricker. She works at City Hall. So for those of you who are unaware, the gas meter has been broken for a really long time because it broke during COVID. And so we just weren't getting the gas bill before former director Emily Dumas left. She's like, you're going to need to fix this. So I was like, okay. And so now 3 months later, Julie was actually able to get them to repair the part, and their estimated bill for us was $12,000. She was able to use our previous usage that she keeps track of and negotiated it down to $5,232, which I paid today. We are looking at starting a vinyl record collection. We have some extra funds in the audiovisual budget right now. And part of the makerspace is going to have a vinyl to MP3 converter. So the librarian who wants to be in charge of the vinyl collection, Emily Crosby, is also thinking about collaborating with another library for a program at the next Michigan Library Association conference. So that would be exciting. The update from the lighting grant that we were awarded, Julie Lyons-Bricker emailed them on April 20th, and there have not been any updates yet. She's going to follow up with them on Friday if she hasn't heard from them since, and I will let everybody know. Right now, where we're at, we've been awarded the grant. I believe it's $15,000, and we need to get an RFP. We need to consult with the city electrician to figure out how we're going to do the RFP and everything. So we're working on that. Also, the head of the Department of Public Service, Aaron Filipsky, is still working on our RFP for the basement. For those of you who haven't been in the basement, it does have some standing water and needs some waterproofing and improvements. So we are going to structure the RFP so that people have to tell us what their plan is for that, and we can determine how we want to move forward with that. Aaron is also working on the RFP for our outdoor work that needs to be done that we had asked the DDA to fund. There's no update on that yet, but I did put a little bit in my director report that I reached out to Tim Twing, and he's going to talk to the infrastructure committee. I believe they're meeting this week, and then he'll let me know before the May meeting. Are there any questions?
Mark.
Adrian, thank you for your report and the updates, because several of them were in my report and you saved me having to do it. As far as under exterior updates, work has begun on the park, and that includes removal of many of the trees on the library's property. I did a walk around, I think it was yesterday, and I saw what you're talking about. I also noticed on the southwest corner of the library, there still are some overgrown shrubs. Do you know, have they just not gotten to them yet, or are those going to remain? Because they'll need to go at some point, but maybe they don't need to remove them because they can do what they're going to do without taking them out. I don't know. You have any information on that?
I don't have any information. I'll find out. The project manager gave me access to the park design plan, so I'll take a look at that. I feel like they're going to come out, but I don't know for sure. So I'll find out and let you know.
Yeah, they're in really bad shape. Also, another question. I'm sorry. On the under budget updates, former Director Dumas wanted to curate an opening day collection for Hoopla Flex, the new service model from Hoopla. Due to the staffing transition, this item got pushed back to the back burner, but now the librarians are ready to move forward with onboarding. We'd like to honor Emily's wishes for opening day collection purchase of $10,000. I'm not sure I understand that.
Yeah, so Hoopla Flex is the new service model from one of our ebook vendors, Hoopla. It's going to act more like Overdrive, where there are wait lists for popular items. But the neat thing with Hoopla Flex is you can set like how many people you want to have waiting for something. So if you say, I don't want any more than 3 people waiting for this book at one time, Hoopla will keep track of who is waiting for it. And once you reach that threshold, they will add more on-demand items. So it's kind of like a flexible option for Overdrive, or I'm sorry, for ebooks. So that, oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, no. So our representative was suggesting that we add some items based on our popular genres, which are like adult fiction. And so this would just give a little boost to that collection so that people would be able to have those available right when we switch over to Hoopla Flex, because it will be different than what we have now.
And so that's what's going to cost $10,000.
Mm-hmm. The money is in the budget, but that's pretty much what's left in the budget. So I just wanted to give everyone a heads up in case
Thank
we
you for
need
the
it.
clarification.
Anything else, Mark? All set? One more? Here's another thought. You're on mute. We can't hear it. Maybe you wanna.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, great. All right. Anybody else have questions about the director's report? I have a question related to the in Matt's report about the collaboration with the schools, which Melanie gave a little bit of an update about in the announcements. Just the last line of it says that we might need more resources, and I was wondering what that meant. Let's see, it's on page
18.
18. It's the top paragraph. He says, it is also clear that such an endeavor may require an influx of additional resources. Do you know anything about that?
I don't, but I think
Okay.
what he probably means is an influx of more copies of that material that's selected.
Okay. What about staffing?
The staff who are on it are doing it on their current hourly rotation, so I don't think we would need additional staffing
Okay.
hours.
Just checking. All right. Any other questions about the director's report? Okay. Actually, usually something about financial statements. Yeah?
I didn't really have any questions today.
You didn't have questions, so it doesn't matter that it's not there. Okay.
I would say that I did look through, and we're getting towards the end of the fiscal year, and so I was looking at, where do I see our expenses are, and how much do we have left, and there were no concerns for me.
Nice. Erin.
I had a question about adult services, the report there. They talked about the Ingram's diversity audit, but he really didn't give the findings. He noted that he wished they would include age and race and gender, but I'm just wondering, what were the findings? And I guess I was under the impression this was something we were already buying into, but we didn't put this in our budget for next year. Did we put this in the budget?
We didn't. So the findings were from the demo that we had. The cost would be $4,500 for our entire collection. And we have not moved forward with it yet, but we can if we want to. I think there would be money in the budget in the electronic resources to go ahead and do it this year if we wanted to.
Did they find anything from the demo?
Oh, the demo, they didn't look at our collection specifically.
Oh, okay.
They showed us the reports that we would be able to see. So I think it would be a useful tool, but Matt was kind of hesitant because it didn't have that, like the senior population included. So.
Is this the only company that does something like this, or are there
The
options for vendors?
company, that you pay them to do it, but the youth librarians said that they learned of one during the Spring Institute workshops that they went to. Some librarians have done it themselves, but they said that it was really labor intensive and a lot of work. So I would prefer to have Ingram do it for us, because Ingram will also send you a spreadsheet of the items that you're missing and then let you know if they're available from Ingram. So it's kind of a bonus for them too, but you can also buy it from whatever vendor you'd like.
Seems to be another strategy. I'm curious about this. Might be to, well, it's great to know what you have, but librarians are buying and investing in the collection all the time. So it seems that that the current librarian should be using DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion sort of lenses for materials they're buying now, right? So I'm assuming that's part of what we're doing, but I guess I don't know that for sure. Is that something we attend to and that our librarians attend to as we grow our collection?
I don't know that it's a formal procedure, but I agree. Ingram makes it really easy. I've never used Baker and Taylor for collection development, so I don't know what kind of tools they have, but Ingram is really good at making curated lists where you can just go and say, like, I want a list of, the most popular African-American titles right now this month and go through and buy it. So that would be a question for Matt. I'll check in with him and Amy as well and see what they're doing and report back next meeting.
Great. Yeah, I'd be curious both in adult and in youth, how we're approaching that. Thanks.
Yeah. They also said for the Ingram diversity audit. A lot of libraries are doing it once and then doing it again like a certain amount of time later to see how much they were able to improve.
Thanks. Okay, any other questions about the director's report? All right, we're going to move into committee and liaison reports. Policy review. We have some policies as action items. Is there anything that you'd like to add right now in terms of a committee report?
I don't think that there is.
Okay. Sharon, this reminds me, were you interested in joining the policy review committee?
Could you use some more support? I'm in.
Okay. Oh my gosh, go team. She's in. That means we can type her on the bottom of the agenda too, Adrian. Official. You know, when you type it on a Google Doc, that's it.
In the minutes, Aaron's put.
No going back. All right. Thank you, Sharon. All right. Director Search Committee.
Please excuse the Pokemon that you might be hearing behind me from the television. I've requested it be turned down, but we have moved forward with Royal Oak HR. I would anticipate that the position will be posted soon. We're just determining the term of the posting. And we sent also a survey to staff because we wanted to get their input on what they're looking for in a director, what they would ask candidates. And I've already received 10 responses on that. And we are leaving that open through May 6th. Obviously, those can still come in while the posting is up. So I'm thankful to the staff who have completed it already and hope more do. I think there's been a lot of good feedback on that. And like I said, I would anticipate HR would have the posting completed soon.
Great. Any questions for the Director Search Committee? Okay, thanks for your work on that. Next is strategic planning. I can give a quick report, and then we're going to actually, for a discussion item today, take a look at our strategic plan a little bit. So our committee met on April 14th via Zoom. And really what we did was we focused on the strategic plan a bit and started really thinking about our next steps as a committee for 2021 and what that might look like. And one concrete step forward that we've been talking about is a strategic attrition planning approach. And Adrian brought a draft plan to the committee, and committee members sort of talked about it and gave some feedback. And we plan to meet again on June 2nd, 6:30 to 8. And it's scheduled like at the library right now. I mean, I guess that could happen. But right now, that's our plan. We'll see. So that's strategic planning. Any questions about or anything to add, strategic planners? No. Okay. Any questions about, yeah, Carla?
It sounds like we had some turnover in staffing this month. Is the attrition planning far enough that it'll help guide that, the new hiring?
What would you say, Adrian?
I have a plan in mind, so we will meet again and talk about it. But right now, according to my calculations, we have approximately 46 open part-time hours.
Okay. Next is facilities.
That'd be me.
It's you.
You have our written report. We met at the library in person, masked up on March 26th. We did a walkthrough to look at the progress of the renovations. We had some concerns at that time. They were communicated to Kyle Haining with LDA. He subsequently scheduled a walkthrough with us on April the 8th. As Adrian indicated in her report, those concerns have been addressed and resolved. And Adrian covered most of the points that I wanted to cover. One thing I wanted to make sure everyone was aware, because I can't remember if this went out to all board members, but we did incur some additional expenses. For moving books was one thing. That these are items that weren't included in the RFP and the subsequent contract we signed with LDA. And also for the wiring of the youth reference desk and the adult circulation desk. Those items totaled $8,040. So that's within what we have budgeted for capital improvement. So she covered, yep, we're all set. That's it. Any questions?
Questions for facilities? Thanks for your detailed report. It'll be nice to have that history to refer back to as well with the numbers and everything. Appreciate it. Any questions on facilities? Okay. Next, we have Friends of the Library.
Yeah, so we discussed a multitude of items at the Friends meeting. I think the most important is that they haven't officially approved the budget, but they agreed that they want to spend at least $6,000 or contribute $6,000. So that is in the works. Right now they have $11,337 in their checking balance and $11,368 in their money market balance. Outside of that, we talked about fundraising efforts. So again, they're going to do the plant sale, which is going to take place, which is taking place currently. They talked about ways to support in terms of approving volunteers for the Friends group, as well as ways to keep track of membership. So creating a system where as membership expires, they want to make sure there's a system in process that ensures that people are getting emails that their membership is expiring. So they're aware of that. So that's pretty much it. Any questions related to Friends? Oh, you can hear me the whole time? Oh my goodness. You guys can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
It's a great report.
Oh, sorry, because it looked like I said I was on mute, so I apologize.
No, we heard everything. Was that your first? That was your first solo meeting, I think. Yeah. Oh, now you're on mute. Now we can't hear you.
This is weird. It's okay.
I can hear you.
All right, perfect.
Nice. Thanks for going. I think Erin has a question.
I think I read in the youth report that they're thinking about doing a book sale at the summer reading program kickoff. Did they talk about that at all?
Yes. They're going to do a book sale. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out the dates. I don't think I have the specific dates there, but I will find that specific date for you.
Is it June 19th?
I think that sounds right.
Okay.
Adrian.
Yes, it's June 19th for summer reading. And then they're also talking about on the nice Saturdays doing a pop-up paperback sale outside of the contactless pickup area.
Mm-hmm. Fun. Innovation, Okay, thanks for going, Eric. And then you and Mark have a great plan, I'm sure, for covering the meetings. And we look forward to whoever's going to report next month. Thank you. City Commission liaisons for May, it says, which really will be about, I'm not sure what, but probably upcoming summer reading and I don't know, all those things. Adrian was going to say something. I can tell by your face. Go ahead.
Yep. There's also budget meeting, like special budget workshop meetings that I'll be at least one of those. And then I was thinking we could talk about our current reopening, whatever we decide.
Whatever that ends up being. We tried, and then you can't run a library without electricity. So, all right. Normally there's something in here on the DDA, but that was included in the director's report. So you can read all about it there. Okay. Next is discussion item is a strategic plan 101 kind of session. Now this is kind of strange because this is like our business meeting, but this next part is going to be a little bit like interactive and no one's going to be making motions and things like that because it's a discussion item. Since we have so many new folks on the board and it's been since 2019 since we passed and, you know, adopted our strategic plan. And, you know, it really should be driving the work that we're doing in intentional ways. We thought it would be a good idea at a board meeting to just spend a little bit of time on it and orient into it a little bit. We weren't going to read it together or anything like that, but you could do that over a cocktail or something at home. So maybe after we talk today, you'll just be dying to dive into it. So what I'd like to do is just, if you'll allow me, just do a little quick, strategic planning 101 with our plan, and then we can talk a little bit. And then at the end, we can have questions and thoughts and reflections. So really the goal of this is just to orient you to the plan and highlight some big pieces in it. That's pretty much the goal here. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Can you see?
Mhm.
Now you guys have all disappeared. I've got to go find you. You're hiding under some other window. There you are. I found you. Okay. So, and interrupt anytime if you have a question or any of that stuff. So we're going to talk about the ROPL strategic plan. Okay. So first of all, there's some key ideas or components that I'd like to share with you. And one is just the idea that this plan was co-created by staff with the board and with community input. That was the process that we used to develop this plan. The other big idea is that this is a 5-year strategic plan, and it's meant to guide us through 2024. The last 3, 4, 5, 6 are the big components of the strategic plan. So one has to do with our mission, which we'll talk about. And mission answers the question, why do we exist in the first place as a library? The next piece is vision, and that answers the question, what must we become to accomplish our mission? And then 5 is values. What do we believe about libraries? And then 6, goals and measures. So what must we achieve to get there, and how will we measure our progress along the way? Those are the big ideas in our strategic plan. All right, here's how it happened. It took longer than you would think that it would take to make a plan, but it took basically, I don't know, 6 years to make a 5-year plan. I don't know. Could that be true? It felt like it. I think it's kind of true. So in 2013, the strategic planning committee began meeting, and kind of just like what happened was our old plan was expiring. And we were like, well, I guess we should write a new one. So we did some taking stock kind of moves where we surveyed the community, and we put, surveys on the website. We went and we, went to like the senior centers and did some surveys. We went to preschool information night and did some surveys. I think the Daily Tribune, this was 2013. The Daily Tribune, I think, even launched a survey on our behalf. It was, lots of Google Forms. And we got some feedback, and staff too. Staff also gave feedback. 2014 is when we discovered this thing called QSAC, which I'll talk about on the next slide. But basically, we used QSAC as a way to think about ways to structure our strategic plan. And through that process, we ended up achieving the essential level. And what we did was we used QSAC to serve as our interim strategic plan as we were developing this bigger plan. So it's not that we didn't have a strategic plan, it's just we needed to customize some things. 2017, by then we get to the mission, and the board adopted a new mission, which we'll talk about. Before that, the previous mission statement had been adopted in 1998. So it'd been a while, and it needed to be freshened up. And then 2018 was when like the actual plan, we got into the weeds, and the board and the staff engaged in facilitated processes for developing the plan. So I did some facilitation in the strategic planning committee that also included staff. Then we actually had an outside facilitator come in and help get all the components of our plan together, and then it got written. And then in 2019, the board adopted the plan, and then came our 5-year plan. And then really the phase we're in right now is implementing and monitoring that plan that was developed. So that's where we are. Are there any questions about this particular plan's history or where it came from or any of that? Okay. All right, so let's talk about this acronym that keeps coming up, QSAC. It stands for the Quality Services Audit Checklist, QSAC. And the big idea here is that it's a completely voluntary certification program that's really focused on helping libraries be their best selves, right? So it's helping us think about our continuous improvement process. This is run through the Library of Michigan, and they're the ones that set the benchmarks in each of 7 areas, which are listed on the screen. I won't read them to you, but there are 7 areas. And even they update what's in those measures every 3 years. So a couple things happen. One is the measures get updated by the Library of Michigan. And 2, you have to reapply for certification. You lose it, like it expires. There are 3 levels, and the 3 levels are essential, enhanced, and excellent. And you achieve them, like in order to be enhanced, you have to first achieve essentials. You have to work your way through. Right now, there are 13 libraries in Michigan that are essential, 4 libraries in Michigan, including the Royal Oak Public Library, that are enhanced, and only 2 libraries in Michigan are excellent. And our current certification expires in August 2022. I can tell you that the QSAC process, I think, is a very helpful tool to help us think about our own continuous improvement. So again, it's not something that's mandatory, but I think it's something that's helpful. And I feel like right now it'd be weird not to mention Roxanne Plater's name. If you're out there listening on YouTube, Roxanne, we're thinking about you. Roxanne was a board member who spearheaded our QSAC effort and put all the time, energy into doing all the things and making sure that it happened. So this is something that the strategic planning committee will definitely be working on this year, is thinking about our recertification for next year. It'll be part of the work. Any questions about QSAC? All right. So next, like I said, the 2 of the big components of the strategic plan were revising our mission and then adding a vision. And you see them on our screen now. And what I'd like you to do is read what we have for mission and vision. Remember, mission is why do we exist? And vision is who do we need to become in order to live into our mission? And if you could please just read them to yourself, and then we're just going to have a little discussion about what do you notice about the mission and vision of the Royal Oak Public Library. So I'll be quiet while you read and reflect. Okay, so look at Carly giggling.
I can hear my kid beatboxing from the shower.
Oh my gosh, that's very exciting. Okay, so let's have a Zoom conversation for a quick one. What are you noticing about our mission and vision? You could just unmute when you have something to share.
I noticed that looks like it took a really, really long time to come up with this mission and vision, and whoever did it must have done a really good job.
Oh, thanks, Melanie.
I appreciate opportunities for all existing in both, because that's one thing I really appreciate about libraries.
Yeah. Thanks, Catherine. What else are you noticing? Go ahead, Erin.
I along Catherine's lines, I appreciate that we address more than just getting a book. That's not what the library, that's not all that we serve. I love the cultivate intellectual, recreational, and collaborative experiences.
The word books isn't even in there. It doesn't even say books anywhere.
Yeah. Books are more like a strategy than a main thing, right? Adrian.
I like how connect is in there because for me, I feel like the community connections, like the library is all about community connections. And I feel like that's even more important than the materials.
Yeah. Any other noticings? Something I was noticing when I was looking at this is like, I feel like they're still relevant even in a pandemic, right? So I love that. So Melanie's point about, wow, it must have taken a long time. It did. It took a long time to do this. And I think that what the team and the group and the stakeholders created is something that's going to last, right? It's even in a pandemic, right? We don't have to put these aside. They can still drive our focus and our work together. Okay, so those are the mission and the vision components. Another thing that we worked on together and co-created, staff and board members, was our shared values and beliefs. And I actually remember the room, we were in like in C and D, I don't know if anyone else remembers being in there, where like we took the wall down and there was like chart paper up and sticky notes and dots. And it was like this messy process trying to like really consolidate, like generate first and then consolidate our thinking. Like, what is it that we believe about libraries? So next, I'd love for you to read these 6 that we landed on. Doesn't mean there aren't other shared values and beliefs that we have, but these are the 6 we landed on that made it into the plan. And if you could just share, if maybe a couple people could share one that resonates with them. When you're ready, you could just unmute and tell us.
Number 2 has me thinking about our action item to do away with fines and fees.
Great. What about that? How are you connecting the two?
It just makes me excited. Again, I'm referring to Catherine's earlier statement. The library is for everyone. It doesn't matter on your income. It's for everyone. Everyone should have access, the same access, not have to worry about overdue fees. And I'm very excited about it.
Thanks, Erin. Let's do 2 more people. A value or belief that resonates with you.
Number 5 is resonating with me. It's just reminding me of being a kid. My dad took us to the library every Saturday, and we would be there really for hours, and he would be in one part and we would be in the other, another part. And I remember the children's librarians were always very just friendly, and you felt safe there. That's how it should be. I mean, you should be able to go and sit there and spend an afternoon and feel like you're in a safe space and enjoy yourself. That absolutely just reminds me of my childhood.
Thanks, Sharon. Okay, one more person. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I think for me is number 4. We have to start looking at our libraries as a community partner, more so as a reciprocal resource to the community, and not just where people come and get books and knowledge, but we have to support the community when the community needs support as well. Yeah.
Great, thank you. All right. Now, the part of the plan that takes up the most space in terms of pages is this part, and it's our goals. And the idea behind the goals in the plan is that, 1, they need to be aligned to our mission and vision, and they have to help us. They are shaped by our beliefs and our values. And they should have targets and timelines, and they're just priorities. Now, this is the part of the plan that can shift around a little bit. The other pieces, the action plan part can shift around a little bit, but the big buckets will probably kind of remain for the next 5 years, 4 years now, or 3 years now. I guess it's 3 years now. So let's take a look at those. I worked really hard to make a graphic, and it's just, I had a lot of text, and otherwise you're looking at pages and pages of a document. So just forgive me. So what I did was I put our mission in the middle and then the goals around it. We actually had one more goal that was named as a short-term goal that we've achieved, I think actually fits into the purple: continuously upgrade and maintain physical space functionality. And that was, we have a whole goal in there. You'll see about a space study and a lot of detail about that. There's like a whole page about the space study. It's where our thinking was, and we were like really excited to get going, and we wanted to make sure it went into the plan. And that's also where the birth of the facilities committee comes from and all that. So we didn't have one before, which is kind of hard to believe. So anyway, so when you look at the plan, you'll see one more, but really for these purposes, I folded it into that purple one. So I'm going to give you, again, I'm going to be quiet. And if you could just read these to yourself, are they really small for you? It's hard to read because maybe you're on a little screen, but do the best you can. And just think about, which of these goals would you like to learn more about in terms of the library, right?
What have been the thoughts about securing stable funding? So that's aside from property taxes, you're thinking something bigger or something else?
When we wrote this plan, we're like, oh my goodness, we're going to have to go for a millage in this time period. That should be on our radar, on our goal. So yeah, that's the big idea. There's also fundraising goals that come up, but I don't know how stable that is, right? That flexes. So I think really the big idea here is the millage. Unless folks that were there, was there something else we were also thinking of?
I think that was it.
Yeah.
Didn't an endowment fall under that too, though?
Oh, yes. We were looking at endowments. You're right. And we met with people at one point. I'm remembering that. Wow, thanks for bringing that up. Feels like forever ago, about ways to be strategic about courting endowments from patrons and having people leave things to you in their trust and their wills, which has happened to like we'll get surprise donations, sort of really generous gifts, really lovely gifts from folks after they pass away. And I guess there's strategies folks use to cultivate those and let people know that that's an option.
I think actually Roxanne was working on that.
Yeah.
And we met with the interim attorney, I think, or interim city manager before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing ever happened. Like that was in February and nothing ever happened.
Sure. Yeah.
Melissa from the Friends was working on that too. I don't.
Yeah.
If she's still involved in that project or not, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Anyone have a goal that really kind of piques their interest, something that you're thinking about, would like to learn more about, or maybe it intersects with your passions or your skill set? Maybe it's not your passion, but your skill set.
I appreciate the goal around employing and retaining happy and welcoming staff and providing for their ongoing development. I think that is so important to the entire experience, making sure that our staff is taken care of.
Yeah, we don't have a library without our staff.
No, and they absolutely make the experience.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important.
Sharon?
They're definitely the heart of the library.
There.
I appreciate communicating the resources, programming, and services, because if people don't know what's offered, they don't know that they can take advantage of them, and that's what I do. So anyway, I appreciate that one.
Excellent. Okay, anybody else have a goal that they kind of connected to or wanted to learn more about, or they're just really glad to see it there? Okay, wait time on Zoom is weird. Okay, we're at the end almost. Okay. So the oh, but there's more is really, you should take a look at the full strategic plan. So we have a link in our shared folder to this. It looks like this. Actually, I can drop the link in the chat right now if you're one of those people that are like,
I have some extra hard copies too, if anybody's interested in one.
yeah. Did someone rename themselves strategic plan? I'm going to head out, but have a great meeting.
That was Carol.
Oh, because I was like, who renamed themselves strategic plan?
I wondered that too. I was confused.
I hadn't looked at the chat in a minute, and okay. Sorry, this is the plan. I won't scroll through and make you dizzy, but this is what it looks like. It gives a snapshot at the front, and you sort of, you can scroll through that and get to the meat of it, including, okay, close your eyes. I'm gonna scroll fast. Like these sorts of things. It has the goals with some our thinking at the time, right? This is pre-COVID. This is probably something both the committee needs to revisit and staff. Because this is the other thing, is it's mostly the staff, right, that lives out this plan. And so this is where it is. Okay. So last but not least, this is the last slide. Just big picture, any sort of thoughts, reactions, questions, reflections about the Royal Oak Public Library's 5-year strategic plan in all its glory. Erin.
So is this available to the public?
It used to be on the website, but it's been moved around, and did it end up back on the website? Adrian, do you know?
I feel like it is, but I would have to look around.
Okay. Yeah, it was at one point, and then things keep getting sort of revamped and moved around. And so that was the concept, that it's a public document and definitely should be accessible. Mark.
Committee rewriting the whole thing, or you're starting with this and then just refreshing it?
Focusing on implementing.
Oh, implementing.
So yeah, implementation and monitoring. Mark.
We should get copies of the strategic plan to all board members who weren't members of the board at the time it was adopted.
Agreed. I feel like Adrian is writing that down. I could see her doing it. Okay. Anything else? Thoughts, reactions? Okay. Well, that's that. That was Strategic Planning 101. You survived it. Oh, Mark's yawning. He's that kid in class. That's all right, Mark.
Actually not. I think it's terrific. You did a great job.
Thanks, Mark. Okay.
I'm old. I yawn.
Is that time of night? 7:50? Gotta wrap it up. Okay, we are going to move into action items. The first action item is declaring item surplus. Very fun. It's on page 26 of your board packet.
Carla motions to declare those 2 tables surplus.
Is there a second? Melanie seconds. Any discussion about these 2 tables?
I do have a question. the local history room. Are there tables in there now? Okay, that was it.
And they're nicer than these ones.
Okay.
Okay, any discussion about these items? Okay, all in favor of declaring these tables surplus, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, all in favor. Oh, no. Let the record reflect. Sorry, you guys, I'm with Mark. It's been a long day. Let the record reflect that this motion passed unanimously. Okay, next we have policy 5.15, library vehicle usage. It's on page 27. Is there a motion?
Carla motions to, what is it, to add this?
Yeah.
uh, this new library vehicle usage policy.
Is there a second? Oh, was it Sharon?
I
No?
said it, but Eric raised his hand. Melanie said
Oh.
it, but Eric raised his hand. So whoever.
Okay. Did you pick someone, Aaron, as the second? Okay. Discussion.
We discussed this last time, right? I was like, we discussed this. Okay.
I don't know that we saw it in its full format though, did we? I think we talked about it was coming and we talked about like how flexible it is, like we can give the car back to the city, and we talked about all those things.
Okay,
but
well
in terms of the
I'll
text
give you.
of it,
I'll give you a brief discussion. I thought, for some reason, I thought we'd already discussed this, but I'm just getting my meetings confused, I suppose. So I just stole this from another library, I think like Ypsilanti or something like that. It has a very similar library vehicle usage, and I just tweaked it a little bit for our purposes. I mean, it's fairly standard, but it's an exciting addition to the library.
Mark.
I wonder if this has been run by HR.
Why would we do that?
Well, just because it says things like employees will be responsible for any moving violations or tickets that they receive, et cetera, and that may be something that I guess it depends on who's driving it and whether that person's in a bargaining unit.
Something we could do is pass it, and then if there are things that get flagged, we can always change it later. Were any staff members part of the
Other than Adrian?
Adrian?
So the main person who's planned to be driving it is a part-time staff person. Our insurance does cover employees driving in it. So I have been telling people the only employees are allowed to go in it, just in case anything happened and a non-employee were to be in it. I feel like if someone gets a speeding ticket because they're going too fast, it wouldn't matter. Like the city wouldn't pay that for them. And that was kind of where we were going with that, was if someone was disobeying the law, that they would still be responsible.
But I'm happy to send this to Dennis after, if we pass it or not, either way, I'm happy to send to Dennis and say, hey, how does this look? Is there anything that we need to take a look at?
Just off of what Adrian said, where I could imagine that people might think about riding in it would be like friends members who are maybe going to be transporting things to help with a book sale or programming or something. And so, being clear on, okay, well, we can carry your materials, but we can't carry you.
Yeah, there's only 2 seats, the driver and the passenger seat, so.
Was it like a sports car?
Yes.
Exactly.
The library Corvette.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a little red Corvette.
That's going to be our next vehicle.
All right. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of adopting the library vehicle usage policy, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, let the record reflect that this passed unanimously. So I was distracted by Catherine's background. There was, I don't know, it was exercising. That was very fun.
It's
Okay.
a lot of dancing. I don't
Oh, it's dancing. I like it. All right. Next, we have action item C, library schedule of fees revisions, policy 5.50. And that begins on page 29 of your packet, and the strikeouts are there. Anybody want to speak to this, or do you have a motion? Are you moving it? Melanie's moving it?
I'm very excited about this, and I want to be down. I want to be on the record as moving.
You want to be the one?
Yeah.
You do it. Melanie moves. Is there a second? Mark seconds. Okay, discussion. What does this do? Carla?
I thought that the hotspots were still going to have overdue fines. Is that true? And also Chromebooks, which I don't see listed in here at all.
Sorry about the Chromebook oversight, but it was supposed to be they can be bricked if they're not returned.
We turn them off.
So there's no late fees. They just can't be used.
And there will still be a replacement cost.
What was the other thing? You said Chromebook, hotspots. Same thing, same idea?
Mhm.
Okay.
So bricked is the proper term for,
It turns into a brick.
I learned something.
That was my favorite part of this review, is when we learned the term bricked.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
I
Oh,
have one more piece of discussion. I think
Okay.
Adrian was saying she didn't want to publicize this broadly. Is that true? Did you say that, Adrian?
I think it would be nice to let people know.
Okay, maybe Mark said it. Somebody said it. Did you say
I
it?
think I did.
What was the thinking?
Oh, I can't remember. Let's see. Well, I don't think I'll say.
Okay, good. Let's pretend no one remembers.
all right. I already forgot.
Good.
Okay. You guys, this is a big moment. All in favor of adopting the new library schedule of fees, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Let the record reflect that this motion passed unanimously. You guys, we did it. This has been a conversation the whole time I've been on the board. It just happened.
Awesome.
I'm proud of us. I'm proud of this library. Okay, next. Policy 8.0, emergency pandemic response revisions, which is page 31. Is there a motion?
Carla motions to change the current 8.4.1 policy to the proposed 8.4.4 to 8.4.4 proposed.
Thank you. Is there a second? Melanie seconds. Discussion. Melanie.
So just staff brought this to us. I think it was smart to, we had been saying we weren't going to be using computers during the, during this like the grab and go phases, but it is an important part of the services we provide as a library for access and services to all. If you look back at our strategic plan. So I'm happy the staff brought this to us. And I think, it's worded a little bit oddly because we weren't exactly sure how to both say that you could reserve it, but then if it's available, you can come use it. And we wanted to make sure that it could be used by both adults and by teens who are going to be up there since they no longer going to have their accessible for right now. So anyway, all credit to staff on this one. I'm glad we're getting it going.
Thank you. Carla?
I thought it was clear, and I understood why the changes were being made. So.
Mhm. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor of adopting the proposed emergency pandemic response revisions to 8.4.4, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, let the record reflect that this motion passed unanimously. Yeah, and thanks to staff on that. All right, next. E, action item E, library phase advancement / building reopening. Adrian, do you want to talk about this a little bit for a second?
Yeah, so at the last meeting, we voted to move to phase 4 on April 19th, but some stuff has happened since then. The power outage to move the electrical boxes that was planned for actually this week got pushed until sometime during the week of May 10th. The dates are still not set yet. We still have some renovation wrapping up to do. The computers are not ready for the service desks, and that is a major part of our services to people. And especially when they come in for grab and go, they're going to need quick help because they're not going to be able to be in there for more than an hour. So basically at the end, the last bullet point, I've talked to staff and they are comfortable with this, and they said they appreciate the breathing room. But my recommendation to the board would be to move to grab and go on or after May 17th to give us some time to wrap up the power outage, all of the renovation things that need to happen, give more people time to get vaccinated and the numbers to go down for COVID-19. But I did hear on the radio today that we're down a little bit. So I think we're trending in the right direction.
Okay, is there a motion? Mark.
So moved.
All right, so Mark moves to move the library to phase 4, grab and go on or after May 17, 2021 to account for the upcoming power outage, local rise in COVID-19 cases, and renovation wrap up. Is there a second?
Catherine seconds.
Thank you, Catherine. Discussion. Melanie.
Sad. I'm sad and annoyed about the power outage. Like that just, I mean, we moved it to, like we would have if we had known, although I guess there was still the surge problem, but we might have opened already and gotten almost a whole month in of practicing and grab and go before this happened. So that's it. I'm just angry.
The computers still aren't available, so that would have been a problem as well.
Okay, well, there you go.
Erin.
Are we certain the power outage will be before May 17th? What are the odds that they will push it back?
I would say maybe 50-50. That's why I said on or after May 17th, just in case anything changes again. The good news is they've been really communicative and they're not annoyed when I call them every day for updates. Also, the other good news is Aaron from DPS has a generator for the fish tank, so they're going to be okay.
Great.
Save the fish. Carla.
So how long do you think it's going to take for the computers to be ready?
They did the walkthrough on Monday, so they were planning to do some work during the power outage with their own generator. So they said that they should be ready before May 17th.
Will they be ready much before that? Because, I mean, my concern is that it's going to get pushed back again. And like what Melanie said, like if we would have known, we would have opened. If the computers can be ready, I mean, can we, and it gets pushed back, I mean, can we just open and be open for a while?
I would say if the computers get ready Well, it's already Tuesday. I don't think they'll be done this week. They may be getting there next week and then the week after that of the power outage. If the computers are done next week, the cases continue to go down, the rest of the renovation stuff is done, and the power outage does get pushed back, then I think we would be okay to open in the interim, and then we'll just shut down again whenever the power outage happens.
Mark.
Adrian, when I was in yesterday and walked through, it seems to me there's still a lot of work there for staff to put things back together. Is this time frame give you sufficient time to complete that and have it ready for the public? I mean, aside from the signage, it looked to me that there still were a lot of books that needed to be shelved and shelved in order and that kind of thing.
So the youth librarians completed putting all of the youth nonfiction back on the shelves. The ones that you may have seen on the table are the young adult fiction, and there is no room for that. So we're going to have to move them to the storage room or possibly make a floating collection somewhere like with the high school once that's reopened. But we have made a lot of progress. The new book sign is still up there, and now the new books area is large print, so that might be confusing for people. I don't know if and when that will be put down. We might just need to cover it up with a different sign saying large print is here right now. But we, aside from the DVDs, staff have been doing a pretty good job of getting stuff put back in place where it needs to be.
When you said there's not room for you, young adult, is it fiction or nonfiction that you said?
Fiction.
Fiction. What do you mean by that? You mean ever or just right now?
So right now, that's a really browsable collection. More people check it out when they come in and they can actually look at it on the shelf then put holds on it. So we have the shelves in the teen area are completely full. And then all of the tables that are behind the adult services desk where people used to just have study space, those are all covered with young adult fiction books.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying because people haven't been in browsing, there's too many books there.
Yeah, and it
way
doesn't
more than you would normally have. They'd normally be in circulation. I see what you're saying.
Right. So it looks kind of messy, but I would rather have them out and available for people to browse and pick up.
Yeah.
While we just get used to circulating them.
Any other discussion, Carla?
I'm realizing that with my previous comment that May 17th is only 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So never mind.
I'll say I really appreciate Adrian's proactive communication on this. She reached out to me right away, right when she learned. She's like, oh no, it's looking like a whole week. And it was going to be initially like the second week after the first week of the grab and go. And we thought it'd be very confusing to people to open it and close it. And then anyway, we couldn't even really communicate about the dates yet because they weren't sure obviously when it was. So Adrian, I really appreciate your proactiveness in this so that it could be like a coherent opening as much as you can in a pandemic and whatever in construction project. So I appreciate that, Adrian.
Thank you.
Any other discussion about this? Okay. All in favor of moving the library to phase 4, grab and go on or after May 17th to account for the upcoming power outage, local rise in COVID-19 cases, and renovation wrap up? Say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed? Let the record reflect that this motion passed unanimously. Okay, next we have our final action item, which is new full-time librarian 1 position resolution. Okay, so on page 33, you will see, this is going to seem very formal. Maybe someone could make a motion and then we can explain why it looks like this. Mark.
Move adoption.
Moves adoption of the new full-time librarian 1 position. Melanie seconds. Okay, discussion. Adrian, would you talk a little bit why it looks like a letter and what's happening here?
Yeah, so traditionally, I had always heard that to get a new full-time position in the library, one had to go state the case before the city commission. So I was prepared to do that. And then in a previous city commission agenda packet, I saw a letter asking to fill a full-time position within DPS. And I was like, well, that looks really easy. It was on the consent agenda and it was approved. So I modeled this letter after that. So you'll see in the packet, it's actually 2 pages. Page 33 is me asking the board to make the resolution. And then page 34 is like the board asking the city commission. So it's kind of a 2-part thing, but I did run this by Dennis and he said it looks good. I also ran it by Carol Schwinger and Paul Brake, and Carol said that it was just fine. And she was like, I already put it on to the May 10th one. I was like, well, let's wait until it gets approved, but I'm glad it looks good. So yeah, this is basically, I guess, how we're going to do that. And it is already in the budget for the next fiscal year. I had talked to the finance department about maybe doing this early since we had some staffing moving, but to get that all adjusted and stuff, which for what would eventually be just 1 month, I said, that's not worth it. Let's just get it proposed now, and then we can start recruiting for it now, and then have them start after the fiscal year, after July 1.
Yeah, I could see Carla perking up. She was going to say something about the budget. I appreciate you, Carla. Okay, discussion.
Yeah, I'm happy that, you know, we're able to start adding those full-time positions. So I'm sad to see Mick go.
I know.
I think he's probably still happy where he's at. So.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor of creating and filling a full-time Library 1 position as outlined here, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. Let the record reflect that this motion passed unanimously. Guys, that's another good thing that happened tonight. Man, so good. We're really trying to live into our strategic plan. Look at us. All right. There's only one more thing on the agenda. Who is going to move to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. Catherine nonchalantly. Motions. It's seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Anyone want to stay? Nope. All right. Let the record reflect we all are ready to adjourn
Night.
unanimously. Good to see everybody. Take care. Be well.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Hey, Stacy.
Yeah.
What if we don't have a board member in attendance, do I just put
Yeah, you just say you not present, and I hadn't heard from her. I think you're supposed to write unexcused.
okay.
I think.
Paris was not present.
Yep.
Not present. Should I put unexcused?
That's how traditionally it's been taken in the minutes. So I think.
Okay. We haven't had that come up yet
Yeah.
since I was secretary, so I wasn't quite sure.
Thanks for keeping up with those notes.
Okay. Thank you. All
All right. Thanks. Good night.
See you later. Bye.